Have you ever wondered if the entire internet could just break? Well, for the third time this year, it basically did. We're going to break down exactly how millions of websites just vanished all at once and what it tells us about a hidden fragility in our digital world.
So picture this. It's November 19th, 2025. You're trying to log on, check your messages, maybe get some work done, and you're hit with nothing. Just error pages everywhere. For millions and millions of us, it was like a huge chunk of the internet had just disappeared into thin air.
And the whole thing happened so fast. At 6 a.m. Eastern Time, the first alert goes out, that corporate speak for something is seriously wrong. Just 5 minutes later, major platforms start going dark. And by 6:15 a.m., only 15 minutes after it started, boom, it's a confirmed global outage. The dominoes just fell, one after another.
And look at who got hit. It wasn't just one corner of the web. We're talking about huge social media sites like X, the AI tools we all rely on like ChatGPT, even massive online games like League of Legends. And here's the really wild part. Even Down Detector, the website we all use to check if other sites are down, was down too. Yeah, that's when you know it's bad.
So this begs the big question, right? What in the world could take out so many different, powerful, and seemingly unconnected services all at the same time? As you can imagine, the speculation online just went crazy.
Well, the first official word came from Cloudflare's CTO. He said it was, and I'm quoting here, a latent bug in a service started to crash after a routine configuration change. He was super clear this was not an attack. Now that sounds almost boring, doesn't it? A bug, a routine change, but believe me, that was just the tip of the iceberg.
And this really shows you the disconnect between what we thought was happening and what actually was. On one side, you have everyone screaming about a massive cyber attack or some kind of big cloud conspiracy. And on the other, the official story was way simpler and honestly kind of scarier. It wasn't some enemy hacker. It was an internal mistake, a self-inflicted wound.
So what was the actual culprit? Well, it all boiled down to this one little thing, a single automatically generated configuration file. You can think of it like a digital bouncer. Its only job was to stand at the door and block bots and other online threats. It was supposed to be a shield for a huge part of the internet.
So how did this shield end up causing total chaos? Well, it happened in 4 simple steps. First, you have this protective file. Then, that routine change we heard about, it triggered a bug, causing the file to start growing and growing and growing, completely out of control. It got so bloated that the system's core software just couldn't handle it anymore. And finally, that software, the very thing managing a massive flow of internet traffic, just crashed. Let that sink in for a second. The very tool that was designed to protect the internet ended up being the thing that broke it. The shield didn't just fail, it became the weapon. Okay, so the immediate crisis was fixed. But this whole incident leaves us with a much bigger, much more important question. How is it even possible for one messed up file at one single company to cause this much global damage? What does this really tell us about the internet we use every single day?
I think most of us have this idea in our heads of the internet as this sprawling, decentralized network, a resilient web where there's no single point of control, just a neutral playground for information. But that's not really the reality anymore. The modern internet is less like a spider web and more like a handful of giant islands, each owned and operated by a very small number of massive, centralized companies.
And here they are. These are the titans, the companies like Cloudflare, Amazon Web Services, and Microsoft Azure that are basically the pillars holding up the entire digital world. Almost everything you do online, from shopping to streaming to working, probably relies on one of these companies in some way.
And that's the real issue, isn't it? We've built a system where if just one of these pillars wobbles, it doesn't just cause a few little problems. It causes a massive, widespread collapse. Their stability has become the internet's stability.
It really all comes down to this number, 1. That's it. That's how many companies need to have a really, really bad day for the internet to grind to a halt for millions of us. We've created the ultimate single point of failure.
So, this leaves us with a pretty unsettling thought. We've built our entire digital civilization on just a few foundations. This outage was a massive wake-up call, and it makes you wonder, have we accidentally built an internet that's actually too big to fail? And what's going to happen the next time one of these pillars starts to buckle?